you doing, mate? You alright?
You're hyper.
Yeah, I'm happy today.
You're happy today because you're not ill.
Yes. How about you?
I'm better today.
Good.
So if anyone's listening to us right now, so last time we met for our podcast, we were fine, weren't we, Soto?
Yeah, we were absolutely fine until
and then,
we
bang.
Yes, left each other, and then guess what? Fell ill.
Soto fell ill with the flu, and I fell ill with the flu, and actually ended up in hospital.
Not myself though.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, I know. So how long are you still in hospital?
On a little trip with the ambulance. Hi, and welcome to the Swan Soto Show, your new week driving test centre gossip podcast. Every week we shall bring you lots of this. Looking for a tyre.
Come to me. I got 3 tyres.
And this.
Instead of saying train spot, I said spoting.
And a little bit of this.
Even mother-in-law.
It could be, couldn't it? Join us every week as we share and delve into the lives of us driving instructors and what really happens at the driving test centre.
Did you check your blind spots before you left?
I was strapped into the carrier in the back of the thing. I did have a few college streets on the way to hospital, so that was alright.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I've never had flu in my life.
Is that your first time in ambulance?
Second time, actually. I'm actually asthmatic, so I got told off, so I need to stop the smoking now. Mm-hmm. I'm now vaping.
Still smoking, isn't it?
Okay. Well, kind of, yeah, but no, not a great situation to be in. My only week off work, and I get ill.
Lovely, isn't it? I know. Okay, I fell ill as well. Just 3 nights I couldn't sleep. Just crazy. But okay, coming to the end of it now, so.
We're at that age though, aren't we?
Well, yeah, we are, aren't we? We're not young anymore.
The doctor said to me, have you taken your flu jab? And I was like, no.
Okay.
Here's a pill.
No, I haven't been to doctors yet. I think I'll go to doctors when I die.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the best time. Yeah, then I know I have to get better.
No, that does not make sense.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Doesn't matter. Oh dear. All right then.
Right, okay. So today we're going to be talking about when people buy their first car.
Oh, that's a good topic to talk about.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
Do you have any tips when people buy their first car when they pass their test? What pearls of wisdom do you give them?
Well, definitely check the brakes before you even buy the car. Pump the brakes to see if they're working. There's no real wisdom on it. It's just pot luck sometimes.
Do you reckon?
Depends.
Would you ever encourage a learner to have a brand new car, say for example on finance?
Definitely not. You're going to scratch it somewhere. You're going to hit the tree. Hopefully not. But you'll be worried to drive. It's best to buy a little banger. Then you can't be too. Yeah, a little banger. Yeah, so you can't be worried about it much. So
in case you scrap it against the bush or
exactly, or whatever.
A trolley in a car park or something like that.
Yes, or run over something. No, of course not. But like £400 car, £600 car. Yeah. And then.
Do you think that kind of price bracket would get you a reliable car?
No, it wouldn't.
But surely, if you're that you don't really want to kind of worry about breaking down. Do you know what I mean? Well, what do you think is the ideal budget for new drivers or youngsters?
Well,
anyway?
I'll come back to the budget in a minute. It would be a good idea to, you break down, you learn what to do when you're broken down, call the AA, put your triangle out, change your tyre, learn what the car really does. It's a good learning point. But
how many people do you think actually go out and buy a warning triangle when they pass that test? I know you're a bit older now, so
yeah, probably zero. But I've never used one myself either.
No.
But yeah, it would be good knowledge to have one and
to use it.
Do
you know what? I think it's actually compulsory in France to have a warning triangle.
Ah, well, I know it's in Europe, definitely. In Czech Republic it is, yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have one of those in the boot. The police check your boot to see if you got one in.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
You get points. Yeah.
Lots of differences between Europe and England. Yes. What do you think about the Brexit then? Do you think that's going to change licensing?
I doubt it.
Still stay under the European laws of motoring.
The English driving license still be powerful as it has been.
Did you know that we have... okay, I'll do a little quiz now.
Okay. Who
has the safest roads in the world?
I would go Norway, Denmark, Scandinavia.
Sweden,
maybe.
Sweden's number 1.
Nice.
Where does Britain, UK roads fall in?
I would say near India. I don't know. What do you... or Romania? You tell me. What do you reckon?
We have the second safest roads in the world, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Ah.
Even those potholes as well.
Maybe not the potholes, but
Good.
So apparently our motorways, however, are the safest roads in the world.
Yeah.
4% of all accidents happen on British motorways, so not bad going. Obviously.
When was the day that there was a big motorway crash?
Oh God!
I mean, really big, severe motorway crash.
Wasn't it on the M5?
Could
there was
be.
a big lorry. That was only a couple of years ago.
No. It was loads of cars
Oh, I don't know
crashing
this
into each
story.
other. It was back in the 80s, I think. I'm showing my age again, and it was really serious. A lot of people died. Cars caught fire as well and everything.
Yeah.
But I have to check that out later.
Yeah.
And since that time, it's been improved.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So,
we'll have to look into
yeah,
that
check
for
it later. Yeah.
our listeners who are inquisitive about this story.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of months ago, I had a pupil pass his driving test, and he was so excited. He went out and purchased his first car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he had a budget of about £1,000, and he found this Astra, and the Astra was his ideal car, you know. Okay. So he went out and bought it, and he did a HPI check. Everything come back great. We do actually have an interview. Feed into the interview right now.
All right.
Hi Jamie, so you've recently passed your test and bought a car and lost your car. So what exactly happened?
Right, as you can tell by my voice, it's a very stressful time. So basically, I passed my test. I had £800 as my budget to buy a car. I looked for a car on a for sale site, and I was looking for an Astra in particular. And I liked the look of this one, and I went with it. Now, I was just quite eager just to buy it. I didn't really have many, questions to, query, because I just thought, sellers of a car keep their car in good condition by default. So I thought a simple HPI check would just give me the green light. And when I came to near the time when I brought the car, the HPI check I did on it came clear. And so it all seemed quite good. I handed the seller over the money, took the car home, insured it and everything like that. But 3 weeks later, I had my car repossessed by the police because they came around my house and said it was stolen. And I felt a bit of a idiot for buying the car of this seller because I assumed everything was fine. But apparently the police said this was stolen. And I thought, well, I've got no more money left, so I'm £800 skint, lost my money to the HPI check, and I phoned them. And the HPI people say, well, because it came back clear, we can't be held liable for the claim. And I thought, well, that's not fair, because then you're making a false impression of a car's history. So I did a bit of digging around, and I got some advice from various places about trying to get help and getting more money back. And the HPI actually came round and paid me £400 back to me because of the incident that happened. But again, it doesn't help that I lost £400 for a simple mistake.
So what advice would you give to new drivers who have just passed their test getting an older car for the first time?
Well, again, you got to make sure that things are in place, like the address matches up. You want to buy the car. So if you, when the seller gives you their address, it's got to match with their V5 log, driver's license, and again, once you know that, I think you're good. Again, make sure you take someone with you, preferably a parent, because their wisdom will help, stuff like that. But not just stick to one car. Do a bit of shopping and have a look, see what you like. Contact a few sellers, but if you see, if your instinct says don't go with them, don't go with them.
Well, hopefully everything goes all right with your new car. Thank you for the interview, and hopefully this will help our listeners or give them a little bit of feedback. All right.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, so obviously my pupil bought his car, HPI check come clear, and 2 weeks later the police turned up on his doorstep and seized the car. And the HPI check was wrong.
That's weird, isn't it? So why do you reckon? What could have become wrong?
Well, as the story goes, I mean, the car had only just been stolen. So what happened was they probably tried to shift the car very quickly before the system was updated. Yeah. And so he ended up losing out. and getting his. Luckily, the car wasn't on finance.
That'll be okay.
Because if the car's on finance, you're still liable for the finance, and
that's true. You got to.
Unfortunately,
there's nothing.
You have to be very, very, very careful. Now, in his situation, he actually did get a refund from the HPI company. So, but he only got 50%. So he walked away 400, but he did lose 400. Obviously, his tip is to make sure you do your research. Now, when he contacted this private seller, the guy met him away from a home address. So there was a few telltale signs along the way. So if you're deciding to buy a car, you really, really should do your research and take someone with you who knows what they're actually doing. Well,
usually there's a logbook, isn't there?
There is a logbook.
And the person who's selling the car should be the person on the name on the logbook.
Yeah.
So you need to check out his ID.
Yeah,
see if
you
he
do.
is him.
That's a really good tip. That is a really good tip. Okay, so obviously having a stolen car is one thing. Having a car with finance on it is another. So one of the benefits of having a HPI check is being able to kind of look at the history of the MOT. So do you know much about the HPI check? Have you ever had to do one?
Not really, no.
No? So basically you can look at all the advisories and the mileage over the history of the car. So when you're looking at the HPI check, it's really important to kind of see what the last MOT stated and what the problems were. Because sometimes, like when I bought my son's car, it come back with an oil problem over the last couple of MOTs. So, but when we spoke to the guy about it, he did, well, before we even mentioned it, he actually turned around and said, there is this oil light that keeps coming on. And he showed us loads of receipts and stuff when we were kind of looking at, asking all the questions and stuff. So everything he said tallied up with when we were purchasing that kind of car. And this was only like a Punto, which was £500. But, obviously when you're buying your son's first car, you want to make sure that, you're not going to be ripped off or anything like that. And I did a bit of a sneaky one. We viewed the car and we said, we're really interested. And I said, but I have to go to the cash point. So what we did was we actually went to the cash point there and then, but we hid around the corner, and that's when I did the HPI check. And it's very easy. You can just go straight online, put the registration number in, and obviously go from there. And it usually costs about $9.99. Or you can get a multi-check. So if you're planning to look at 2 or 3 cars, then obviously you can get different deals and stuff like that. So it is really, really worth doing. And obviously,
I didn't know you could do that.
Before I was, going to commit to it, I didn't want to kind of just pay a deposit and walk away. I wanted to pay the money and take the car straight away. So, obviously, if you are deciding to buy a car, it is well worth the money, even if it's just to kind of see what the history of the car is. So, for example, if it's a 10-year-old car and say it's got 70,000 miles on the clock, but if 50,000 miles have been done in the last year or 18 months, then obviously, it tells you a bit of a history about the car, and, mileage spread over a period of time is actually quite a, good thing to have. It's kind of keeping the, I can't think of the word I'm trying to look for now. Consistency.
All the update of the car, yes.
The update.
Yes.
Right, so obviously we've been online, and for anyone who wants to have some extra reassurance, there is a guide if you go to hpicheck.com, and some of the things that you need to kind of consider when you're doing a HPI check. So some of the rules are you need to carry out some checks yourself before you buy the vehicle, and the guarantee is not transferable, so you have to do the HPI check before you personally buy the car for you to be covered. You must supply the correct vehicle registration mark and the vehicle identification number to be eligible for maximum cover available under the HPI guarantee. The HPI guarantee will not apply if we advise you that the VRM does not match the VIN number.
There's too many VIs and VIs, isn't there?
So you need to make sure that the information that you supply during the HPI check is standard. And one of the tips that they give you is when you're kind of looking at, otherwise known as the chassis number, you need to make sure that the 5s and the S's and the 2s and the Z's are, make sure that you look at the finer detail. Because sometimes if it's a fake chassis number, then obviously one digit might be slightly wrong. So there's a little tip there. So you've got to make sure that you check all these numbers. You should also get ID from the driver, as Soto's just said. Because you don't know who is selling you the car. And if it's not...
It's Tom, Dick and Harry.
It could be anybody, couldn't it? Do you know what I mean? So Always make sure that you get valid ID.
Yeah.
And match the address on any ID with the actual house that you're visiting to view the car. So there's quite a few things. You can head over to the HPI agreement. They have a guide there. We've obviously printed it off. Now, sometimes they cover you, sometimes they don't. You know, it depends on just the circumstance that you bought the car. And the HPI guarantee is valid for 2 years. But, you know, it does depend. If you do make a claim under the HPI agreement, they do reserve the right to inspect the vehicle and to make sure the final decision has its condition and value. Yeah. So, you know, when it comes to market value of the car, for example, if you bought a car that's £1,500 and they deem the market value is only £1,000, you know, it won't mean that you'll get the £1,500 back if the HPI check comes back wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to do your research. Don't just offer what someone's asking for the car because you won't be covered.
Yeah.
Bit of a good tip there.
Yeah, it is a good tip, and you've got to make sure that don't be shy to ask the person who's selling the car 1,000 questions.
Yeah, you've got to, right?
You just got to, yeah.
I mean, there's little things like...
has it been an accident?
Has it been an accident? I mean, you know, that's... very often you won't even get insured, will you? Like if it's a Cat C or Cat D.
Yes, people don't know what Cat C and Cat D mean, whatever, but they go on the net and learn a lot before buying a car.
Yeah, where would you advise anyone to buy a car? Where's the best place to look?
Well, in my time, I used to look in the Auto Traders magazine, and I still like the Auto Traders actually.
A lot of people are selling on Facebook nowadays, aren't they? On these kind of cars for sale sites, aren't they?
They are, I know, but I will still go.
You've got to be really, really careful, though, haven't you?
You have to. Yes.
I did look at a car once in Milton Keynes, and it was actually only last year. And when I went to view the car drove past us as we were entering this road.
Okay.
And they just parked up, and the whole thing just seemed a bit funny. Do you know what I mean? Because it's almost like and she was in a rush as well because she was going aboard the very next day.
Oh, okay.
She needed to get rid of the car, and I was like, do you know what? Nah, I'm turning around and going away. Anyone who's thinking about buying a car for passing the test, don't just rush into it because obviously it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and do your comparison on sites like Auto Trader. You know, get a couple of cars, go to get your insurance quotes and stuff like that to make sure that you get kind of into grips with that.
Well, I've heard a few stories about Birmingham. It doesn't seem to be the right place to buy a car. I'm not saying Birmingham is not a good place, but I wouldn't go somehow. No, because of all the stories that one friend of mine saw it on the internet. He went to see it on the other side. He called the man beforehand. Then when he got there, he said, "No, we don't have this car here. We have another one."
Yeah.
You know, so you've got to be careful.
Sometimes they do advertise one car.
Yes.
And it's not actually that car that gets the punters in. But they have a for like or similar car, and
they push you to buy as well. So
I think this problem is quite common in inner cities, isn't it? Because there's a lot. You know, I'm
not saying it's just Birmingham, but I've had a few friends who've been there come back disappointed. But anyway.
Car thieves, you know, the technology that they have nowadays is actually phenomenal, isn't it? Yes. It's really hard to determine what is a ringer or, you know, a car that's been stolen, and you know they've messed about with the engine number, the VRN. So there's lots of things that you should consider, but a lot of people actually kind of buy it off people they know as well. That's a good tip.
That's true.
Isn't it?
That is a good tip. Yeah.
Like father's friend,
yes,
so and so's daughter's sister's brother's girlfriend's family member,
even mother-in-law.
It could be, couldn't it?
Any other relatives you got there? No.
I've only got a small family.
Okay. Oh, lovely.
So hopefully that's going to help you a little bit. So do your research, and when you get to the car, this is a good tip. Make sure that it has a spare tyre in the boot.
Ah, yes, the lovely spare tyre. You need it. You definitely need it.
Do you know that they don't actually have any spare tyres in the car anymore?
I know, and I'm well disappointed with that. They've got this kit in what's it called? The kit that you've got a punch and it fixes it. I know. I said to the dealers, I want to buy a car with a spare tyre. I'm old-fashioned. I want to change the tyre when it's flat. Not take it to the garage. How am I going to take it? I can't anyway.
Well, I purchased a car last year for my son, and we only realised when we broke down.
Oh, really? No, dear
so we had to call breakdown.
And then
3 hours later,
right.
They jacked the car up.
And there's no
took us to a garage, and then we had to buy a new tyre.
Unbelievable.
But 3 hours of your day when there's actually space for the tyre.
There is, I know.
But they're so tight nowadays. They won't even, because it costs, they're just scrimping and saving
They're
every...
saying space saver. What are you going to put in the boot anyway?
There's a space for fully sized tyre.
Exactly.
But
You
they
can
won't sell them.
you still put your shopping in the boot anyway.
I actually phoned
don't
up
get
the
it.
guy, because I bought this car privately, and I phoned up the guy who sold me the car, and I was like, where's the spare tyre? And he went, I'm sorry, it didn't come with one.
Never heard one.
Couldn't believe it.
I know, crazy.
Absolutely couldn't believe it. So if you are looking for a tyre,
Come to me. I got 3 tyres. No.
if you're looking to buy a car, make sure that you haggle them down at least a couple of £100 if you haven't got a spare tyre in the bloody boot.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway.
All right. Okay.
Learner drivers on the motorway, Soto.
Yes. Since it came out, I haven't seen any. It was about a month ago. My pupil said to me afterwards, "Oh my God, it was so easy." Because everybody's scared of it, obviously. Because they think everybody's going fast. But if you explain to them how it goes, which lane to be in, check mirrors before you indicate, pulling out, make sure your wheels are in the lane before you kill indicate, and so on and so on. Well, no, you know what I mean.
A bit drastic.
Yeah, but you'd never see any learner on a motorway. I haven't seen it since it came out. All right, yeah, there was once, and actually that learner held up the traffic. Eventually it got out of the way. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, one. All right, okay. Seen one now.
Right, so 6 months ago, this big hype. Now, I was actually one of those sad instructors that took my pupils down the slip road at 12:01 of midnight on the 4th of June,
really?
2018. The amount of times I've nearly been caught out because of stupid sat-navs over the years.
Okay.
Especially because I travel all over doing my courses. So I can't believe I've never seen a learner on a motorway. I think I'm going crazy.
Yeah, well, Mrs. just reminded us, but since that I haven't.
No, you did actually put a question out on Facebook. Should we have a little look at some of the messages?
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see what they say. Well, quite a few. All right. Seen no, but was taken 3 times. No, there are all the leisure centre car parks. Don't get that part. Anyway, most of my test-ready learners that experience the wish to.
That most of them want to go on the motorway.
Yes.
But possibly haven't been on the motorway.
That's it. I've got one says yes, lots. So it means seen
Ask
a lot.
him what town he lives in.
I will.
What motorway does he drive on?
Okay. Mark Zondo says haven't seen any.
No.
So there you go. Okay. So anyway, if you've got a mobile phone, use it. Don't use a house phone. They're useless. I'm sitting next to them. Oh, I've got one here. I'm sitting next to them. Several. So there are a few, but a lot say no.
A lot of people are saying they haven't seen a learner on a motorway. So if you are listening to this podcast and you are a learner driver and deciding whether you want to go out on the motorway, we're actually gonna do a motorway side vigil, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're actually gonna get some statistics, real official statistics. So we'll bring these to you in a future podcast update. But we don't see it's almost like spot the learner on the motorway. So we're thinking about setting up our own spot the learner on the motorway club.
Oh, okay.
Like train spotting, learner spotting on the motorway.
Yeah.
And then we will set this club up and we will dish out prizes. It's a bit like the Eddie Stobart. Have you heard about the Eddie Stobart number plate?
Eddie Stobart number plate? No.
Eddie Stobart lorry spotters.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Yeah, there's a club.
Right.
And if they do like yearly competitions and if you win, you get your name on the side of the truck for like 3 months and stuff like that. You have a day out with one of the lorry drivers.
Imagine you've got a long name as well.
Yeah, but you have to sign off all the number plate registration numbers and stuff. Yeah, so we could set up our own learners on the motorway club, couldn't we?
We could.
Kind of.
Well, I remember I've got a word for this actually because we were driving along King Sutton and I said to one of my pupils, if you're a train spotter, it's a perfect place to watch trains. Instead of saying train spotter, I said spoting. I don't know why it came out spoting, train spotting, spoting.
Yeah.
So that word has stuck for me for a while now. Yeah, spoting is not in the vocabulary. It means nothing. But we could use that word, spoting, for checking out learners on the motorway. Spoting. Does that sound good to you?
So we've just created a new word.
A new word as well.
In the Swan Soto
yes.
In the Swan Soto vocabulary.
And it's spelled with 2 T's.
Yeah, spoting.
Yeah.
Yeah?
All right, good.
bit like our coughing today, isn't it?
It's a bit, isn't it?
We're still both getting over flu. I
dear,
don't know
it's
why we both
unbelievable.
got flu, but
Okay.
we only saw each other for like 3 hours. Well, I
Good.
think that's kind of a nice time to wrap this
Yeah, we could.
podcast up.
Yes. It's been good. It's been good.
So, if you are looking to subscribe to our podcast shows, you can find us out on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. You can also head over to our channel. No. You can also head over to Ep.4 Academy on YouTube because we're going to upload these videos on there so that you can browse at your enjoyment. Whatever word
Are you
it
still
is.
embarrassed? Are you still shy?
No, I'm not sure.
No, okay. It's not coming out, that's why.
It's not coming out today, is it?
It's not, is it? Never mind.
So, if you'd like to leave us a review,
Yep, please do.
Please do.
And we're not going to cough over it.
we're not going to cough over it.
No.
You can leave us a review and leave some comments in our social medias. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but you can find us there.
Yeah, yes.
Until next time.
Till next time, adios amigos.
Adios amigos. Ciao.
Bye.